Doing okay, buddy? Good. Thanks. Hey, Mr. Gilliam here, and I know that this time is going to be hard. We're going to be going home in remote learning, and we're home too. And we want to make sure that we are giving you everything that you need. And so this message is not just for kids, but it's also for parents. And so we hope that with last spring, we learned a lot more, that this time it's better. It may not be great, but our goal is that it's better. And so this video is to prepare you and hopefully help you in what you need to get your child ready for remote learning, but also inform you in how you can help your child at home or when you get home.
Thank you.
Now we know there's lots that you guys have to do at home. As parents and as kids, there's chores that need to be done, there's things that need to be cleaned, and we want to make sure that we give you the easiest way possible for your child to find us, their teacher. So that way they can become reliant on us, and you can do what you need to do, whether that's work, whether that's clean, whether that's help your other children that may be in the house, whatever that may be, we are fully aware that there's more than just other things. Hold on one second, buddy, I'll be right there. So when we think about that, we want to make sure that this process is easy and smooth. So it's really important that we understand that kids have a space to learn. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be a space. So when you're thinking about how can I help my kid at home, one of the best things we can do is provide them a space to learn. Hey, bud, have you brushed your teeth?
No.
Why don't you go ahead and brush your teeth, okay? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and brush your teeth? So when you're setting up a space, just make sure that there's a space for them where they can work, where they can sit, whether that's a hard surface. I know we sit clipboards home with the kids, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, even if it's just a old table and some chairs, just to get yourself set up. That way your child's not laying in their bed, because the more we lay in our bed, the less attentive we are. And I want to ensure that they are, or we want to ensure that they've got a space to learn. Go ahead and do that. So we want to ensure too that kids, even though they're not at school, we want to get it to feel like they're at school. So when they wake up in the morning, they're still in their PJs, and we want to have them kind of getting ready to prepare themselves, so that way on the outside they're appearing like they're at school, but also it gets their mind ready. There's just something about getting out of your PJs, brushing your teeth, maybe even taking a shower in the morning, just like you would do every morning when you went to school. If you do it at home, it sets that mood, it sets that tone for the kids. So one thing we could do is make sure that they are dressed, that they have got their PJs changed, and that they're ready to go. Hey bud, why don't you go ahead and brush your teeth and then change your clothes before you get started, okay? Now we know that your kids are going to be on Google Meets a lot, and it's really, really important that we try to keep quiet, even though I know there's other siblings, but it's about creating that space for them. So it's okay to check in on them. We definitely want you to do so, especially if they have questions or something's not working. But if they're doing that and you're around them and you just want to check in on them, let's try to keep the distractions to a minimum. So the last thing we want to tell parents before we show you what we've done as a team to help your child get ready and help your child find where they need to be on their Chromebooks, we want to ensure that they have their Chromebooks charged every single night or during the day, or at least they have access to their charger, a place to put it where it's not going to get stepped on, where their Chromebooks are not going to get broken, because that's the one tool that they have that gives them access to their learning. And so it's incredibly important that those Chromebooks stay in a spot. And another thing is making sure that they're getting up at a decent time. Remember, school starts at 8:30 and they've got to be online by 8:30, so ensuring that they have an alarm set, because we understand that some parents have to go to work and older siblings are left in charge, or sometimes kids are left home alone for short periods of time, and we want to make sure that they're awake. that they know what they need to do and they know where to find their things in the morning so they can get started at 8:30. Go ahead and plug in your Chromebook, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and set your alarm for 7:30. Remember, school starts at 8:30. Okay, so that'll give you time to eat some breakfast, get dressed, get changed, shower, everything like that, okay? So parents, this is our chance to show you our trail guide. Now, every team in the school has decided to make something called a trail guide. It's just like what happens when you get lost in the woods. You pull out your map and there you go. You can find your way out of the woods, and that's really what we're doing right now. We're going into the woods. Remote learning can be scary, but if you've got a guide to help guide you through, that was the goal of this, because we didn't have a guide in the spring, and now we do. Now I want to show you where every guide is and how you use it, speaking to the students and the parents as well. And so the first thing I want to show is, where can you find the guide? Well, first, it's inside of the Parent Square message I just sent, but for students, it'll be in their homeroom. So here it's in my homeroom, but if you were in Miss Santiago's class, Miss Miller, or Miss Hayes's class, you would find their travel guide in there as well. Now, their trail guide is intended to be a guide specifically for their homeroom because each schedule is different. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and click on ours, and when you click on mine, what happens is it instantly pulls you up to this welcome screen. Now you can see me here, but the first thing you'll notice is there is a meet symbol where it says morning meet. And every day we meet at 8:30. That's a chance for your child to check in, to say hello, but it's also a chance for me to take some attendance, to really see who's showing up and who's not, and then how we can help with that. Also on the very front screen, you're going to find a Google Classroom link. That's going to get them straight to their Google Classrooms if they need to. There's a link for their Epic, which is a way for them to read at home. And then there's also something for an assignment tracker, which I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. It's really cool what we're able to do with that. So if you click on Monday, the first thing your students will see is they will see a schedule on the side. Now the times will be the same, but the order of things may be different depending on the 5th grade homeroom. So for example, with my class, my students start their day with a morning meeting with me at 8:30. Then they go to writing with Miss Hayes. Now when you see a symbol right here on the side that looks like a camera, that is simply showing them that it's a meet, it's not an assignment. We want to really stress, and we told your students on Fridays, that this is not a list of assignments. In the spring, that's kind of what a lot of us did because we really didn't know what we were doing. I feel like this time around, we are doing a better job, or going to do a better job than we did. And we want to make sure that your child has a way to access us. And that's what the meets are about. You see, what happens when they click on this link where it says writing, they don't go to an assignment page, they go to a meet. And at that meet, you'll find Miss Hayes. And Miss Hayes will be there, and she will be there every single day from 8:50 to 9:35 for my class. And then the rest of the times, she'll be there for the other classrooms, whichever homeroom they're in. From 9:40 to 10:10, all of 5th grade gets a chance for a movement break. If you notice, there's a T here for kind of like a timeout from the screen. And during this time, we want them up and moving. If they need to go and stretch out, or maybe even do one of the workouts that is offered here where we've got some movement break ideas. Now, if they want to get back to the screen, they just click the back button on their browser. And then they can get to their next class. For my class is social studies. And again, you see the camera. And when you see the camera, that means that it's a meet. It's going to be a live lesson with your teacher. Same thing for math, and same thing for reading. Then they get a timeout for lunch where they're sitting for 1 to 1:30 and they're getting a chance to go ahead and take their lunch. And as you can see, as I scrolled through that, every single day is going to have that same schedule, except for Friday. And we'll get there in just a minute. You'll notice for specials, it's a little different. There's a Google Classroom icon. And sometimes that'll happen with our class too. You see, when they click on specials, it's going to take them to a different slide. And it's going to tell them what specials they have. For my class, it's music. And so it tells them to go to music classroom. And Mr. Nail has already informed them what they're going to do once they get there. You know, you may have had a child out on that day, on Friday when we had a chance to talk with our specialist teachers. And that's okay. If you miss class, I've placed all the codes down here for each individual class for my homeroom. Your child's teacher will put the codes for their homeroom. So make sure that they check this if they were a student that missed Friday, either because of quarantining or just because they weren't able to be there. I'm going to press the back icon, and then it'll get them to your last class, which is going to be, for my students, science. Each of these ones that are linked here are going to be in a different order based on your homeroom. So it's important that they use this. And remember, they can find this in Google Classroom. Now, some people may be wondering, what's the schedule over here on the side? This schedule has individual student names that may have been pulled out during the day when they were working in a class. We want to keep that going. We need those supports for those students, and we know that those students improve and grow when they have the supports from their teachers outside of just myself or any of the other 5th grade teachers. For example, this group here has Miss Hancock from 9 to 9:30. They're not going to miss what the class is doing. In fact, my class is doing writing during that time, and that means that they're going to be working on writing, except they're going to have Mrs. Hancock helping them. Down here, you'll see other ones where there's different times, and during those times, they're always going to be working on what the rest of the class is working on, except it's just getting some extra help, or maybe just more so extra attention, where they're having an adult that's just as knowledgeable, helping them come through and help them better understand what's being taught. So let's get to the last part here. And the last part here is really 2 things. One, Friday. Friday's going to always look different. You'll notice right now that I've got a lot of different Google Classroom symbols, not actual meets. And those are really going to be a chance to get caught up on Fridays, really a chance to maybe even talk with your homeroom classmates and your homeroom teacher. And that's what that Friday is going to be about. Some of the things we'll be doing is our reading time will still be the same. So we'll still be able to do some different reading things, like, for example, take an assessment, but also jump into a novel. Your students had some novels being sent home with them. And so we wanted to make sure that they had a chance to read those in a group with students in their own homeroom. And the last part I want to show you is that assignment tracker. Now remember, this is not a list of assignments, but the assignment tracker is. And it's updated daily. Let me show you what I mean. When you go to the assignment tracker, it instantly takes you to another remote learning screen. Now, you want to check, and it kind of looks like an assignment notebook. So if you click on November, it'll take you to November's calendar. And then you'll see the dates, the 16th through the 20th. And all you need to do is click for the assignments. And you will see each individual day. Now, right now, there's nothing in there because we are updating that daily. And what's really nice about this is what you'll be able to see is when there is an assignment for that day, what it was that they missed. But the other thing that we're going to try to put in there is we're going to record our Google Meets. And when we record our Google Meets, we're going to place the link in there. So say, for example, there was a day where your child couldn't be home. Maybe there was a childcare issue. And maybe that childcare place that they went to didn't have internet or the ability to really monitor your child while they were there. So we understand that, and we're recording those lessons. And we will go ahead and place those in there on the day. And so each time that that's in there, what ends up happening is if a child on Friday needs to make up a lesson, say from Tuesday, they can watch the lesson again. They can complete the assignments that are listed. And that way they can go back in and figure out what it is that they need to do. And this is hopefully a way for kids to keep track of what they're doing. One of the things as teachers we're going to try to do is at the end of each lesson, we're going to show ourselves actually updating this in front of the students. So that way students can see, hey, this is live. And every time it gets updated, it changes. What's really nice about this is if you click back on November, what ends up happening is it takes you back to the calendar. But on top of that, what it'll do is it will actually allow you to go to different dates. So for example, I could click on December, and then you'll see the times and the blocks of times where there is no school. Also for January, you'll see the same thing. But the big thing about the January calendar is that 19th date. That's when we want to be back in school. We want to return to person, so students can use this as a countdown and saying to themselves that, hey, I've only got this much more time left. And really this is a tool. This whole piece here, when we're talking about the travel guide and we're talking about the assignment tracker, it is there for your child to be a way for them to connect with their teacher and not just get a list of assignments, but to actually learn. We want to do better this year, and so please allow us to try to do so and allow us to ask us questions so that way we can actually we can help you and help your child in this really difficult and challenging time. So we look forward to seeing you at Monday at 8:30. See you then.